Welcome back to the Renegade Report. I'm Francis Mayer, Sports Information Director for the greatest junior college athletic department in the known universe, BC Athletics. Hold on. Where's my Gatorade? I got to wash the bitterness out of my mouth. I'm still so stirred up over this. I know we've got to let it go, and I know that, when we put the boots on Moore Park this Friday, that'll make me feel a little bit better. And Coach Hughes, you're the picture of release and moving on and letting this go, but you've got game planning to do.
I'm ready to move on, but you guys keep talking about it.
I'm sorry. Okay, let's talk about this. Congratulations are in order.
Oh, thank you,
Coach Hughes.
It's great. Conference championship.
Well, conference championship and some other things. Is this your first time being Coach of the Year in the Western State Conference South?
No, second time in 2007. It's kind of customary. The team that wins it, usually the coach gets it. So Aaron Chavez, big. He's part of that award. My players, those guys, my family, my wife, my mom, dad, my brother,
Your
all
son,
part of that. My son,
he's got great taste in cartoons too.
My son, I can't believe I forgot him too. But
the stack crew,
it's the players, man. They get it done for you. And I don't know. Maybe we need to take them out to dinner or something before the game Friday night. But they make me look good, and Aaron makes me look good. So, it's great. It's a great award.
Well, and folks may not know, unless they've had a chance to be around you, just how much work you put into this. This is not a passing. This is something that you live and breathe, and you guys put a tremendous amount of work into preparing the team. And it's humbling to watch you guys work out in the off season, for crying out loud, let alone what you're doing now. And that is reflected in the success that we've had this season. DeAndre Dixon, of course, MVP of the Western State Conference South. And like we were talking about before the break, that he very well could have been the co-MVP. Not to take anything away from Dre. He's an excellent basketball player, even better person. But Jameek could have been the co-MVP.
Yeah, I think that was more political than anything else. I'm not going to go into that, but DeAndre was phenomenal. He was MVP caliber, but Jameek was MVP caliber. I mean, I've been coaching 21 years. I have never had a kid lead the state in assists. That is one of the hardest categories to lead the state in. And he's done it by a landslide. I mean, it's almost 2 assists more for most of the year. I mean, his last game, we were all surprised. He had 15 assists against Santa Monica. I was shocked when I statted the game. So I think he was slighted. I think he deserves more credit. Not to take anything away from DeAndre, but DeAndre also knows too that, he gets a lot of his easy buckets from Jameek. But in my mind, they were co-MVP. And then, obviously Lawrence Moore, all conference. Nick Velasquez, all conference. Both those guys first team. And then Shane Christie and James Pendleton got all conference honorable mention, 2 freshmen. So that was positive. We had a lot of guys make it, so that was good.
Well, and Jameek and DeAndre said that, Pendleton might have been the MVP of the team just for the energy he brings to things. So it was good that he was recognized. He's definitely been a spark when he comes off the bench, and he does a lot of really neat things.
The good thing about it, it's a coach's vote. I can't vote for my team. So the all-conference is 7 other schools voting for our guys. And that's what made it, really refreshing. We had that many guys that make all conference. It might be the most that we've had. I'd have to check the archives on that. But, I was really satisfied with that. The only thing that really bothered me was Jameek. I think he deserved that.
Well, and I'm not going to speak for you, but you said you didn't want to get into the politics part. He's a guy who's from New York. He's a guy who is mega intense on the court. And you know what? I guess if some folks are sensitive about the way he plays the game, and that's tough on them. I don't know what to tell him. And that's part of the psychological battle sometimes in sports. But Jameek, look, we've all known athletes who have ran their mouths off or verbally challenged an opponent and then got their tails kicked in, and they have to live with that. And an athlete who does talk or lets a competitor know what he's going to do, hey, he puts pressure on himself too. And Jameek has backed up, if it's about how he talks or the confidence that he has in himself, hey, guess what? He's backed it up. So I don't know what to say.
Oh, yeah, he's a fighter. He's going to fight you tooth and nail. till the end. At 21 years, and I don't really like to do that for kids, and I think I told him this. I think I told the paper this, that he's the most competitive game player. I'll say game player. He's the most competitive game player I've ever had, and he will fight you all the way till the end. He'll get knocked down, and then he'll get knocked down again, and he'll get up, and he'll turn it up, and he'll go that full 15 rounds, and he's going to try to win all the way to that final buzzer, and that's what I like about him.
Well, and that's part of the fun of watching the guy play. He is extremely intense. And speaking of getting knocked down, that's not just a metaphor. There was a game, in the last quarter of the season where he got put flat on his back by somebody twice his size, and it made a sick noise. And it was and he sprung right back up, and you could see the whites of his eyes, man. He was ready for more. So a great basketball player and a great competitor. And those other guys that you brought up, you've said all along that these are team wins, and that with DeAndre getting the MVP, you're like, well, we could have given it to the whole team. Coach, it really has been a team victory getting to this point, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, we have a lot more options this year. Last year it was primarily DeAndre and Jameek, and then after that it was always a flip of the coin of who was going to be the one that could score for us. This year we have more leeway because we have so many guys that can score. And then we have guys off the bench that can bring different things and make us. We can play big, we can play small, just depending upon what we need to do against certain teams. So, everybody's contributed to it. It was just a great conference for us. Now hopefully we can, just focus on the playoffs and go game to game and see how far we can go.
Yeah, there's two internet videos I think of, Steve, based on what Coach just said. One is Jim Mora, of course, playoffs. And then one is the practice video from Iverson, because Coach was very clear that Jameek is an incredible game performer, and we will leave it at that. What was your question, Steve?
Coach, playoffs are usually in any level of basketball more of a half-court game. Like you said, possession for possession. Your team is very good in transition, likes to run. You have a lot of great athletes. Do you want to try to speed up the pace maybe and, have DeAndre rebound and kick it out and try to get this into a full-court game a little more, or – so it isn't just strictly, possession for possession?
We can play both. We haven't pressed as much towards the second half of the season due to our rotations going down a little bit. So our way of getting some tempo is rebounding, which we have, one of the best rebounders in the state. And getting it outletted to Jameek and our guys running. That's one way we can beat people down the floor is just transition offense. And then two, we're also have some guys that can play passing lanes, and we can play half-court defense, still create some steals and some trap situations in the half-court. So we have to find those little ways to score because the easiest way for us to score is transition because we're very good. And our speed a lot of times create some havoc for us, whether it's full court or half court. So we got to find those extra points. Those are big for us.
Right. I mean, because you remember the Lakers, the 80s, you guys have the big guy too. They'd run it, and then if it wasn't there, they'd pull up and then run the half court and get Kareem involved. I mean, that seems like a little bit like what you guys do.
That's the hard part because sometimes you get it up there, and our guys, I want to give them, the green light and the comfort to take shots because they can make it. But there's sometimes where we get three happy or we're taking quick shots, and then DeAndre's not touching it. And we got to make sure that if it's not there, that we can bring it out and get him touches because he's hard to guard. Plus, a lot of teams have to double team him, which creates open shots for us. So it's kind of just balancing the two.
Now, Coach, I know your team is very vocal on the bench. Those guys are all completely invested in the game when it's going on, from the thrill from Brazil to Dathan Towns and other guys that don't get as many minutes as some of the other athletes, but they are not missing a single possession emotionally. But how important is it to get fans out to the game in Moore Park and have a presence in that gym?
I mean, it's good. I mean, for us, we're used to, just being us, just from playing on the road. And then,
Sure.
Obviously some of the attendance at home hasn't been great due to the time that we played and stuff like that. So for us, that's one of our emphasis always is our bench. We teach that. We emphasize that our bench is into the game. So, that's going to be crucial. It's like at Santa Monica, our first half, our bench was very quiet, not into the game. Second half, it took James Pendleton just to run over to the bench and scream at him. He yelled at him.
Oh, Pendleton!
Let's go. We need you. And the bench started to contribute, and that's when we started to make our run. So, it'd be great. I'd love to see the red out there. But we also, we're used to, we have to do it ourselves. We have to create that intensity because that's kind of what we've done all year. So.
I might have to track Pendleton down when I get back to campus and have him make a video for me telling these fans to call 395-4269 and get their ticket for the Rooter Bus from Alex. There's no better way to travel. I know a lot of people like driving, but hey, we have all of our electronic devices. You could watch a movie. You can get some homework done.
Listen to some music.
Listen to some jams.
The good news is they're playing the Raiders, and everyone knows the Raiders are not much of a playoff.
I see what you're doing there. Okay, they were one of the winningest teams in all of professional sports until the
1970s
no, until that terrible Super Bowl that Bill Callahan ran the whole franchise into the ground with. So I see what you're doing, Steve, and we'll take that up after the show. But I just want to drive this point home. Hey, listen to Pendleton. He says, "Get in the game. We need you, fans."
Yeah, the fans need to get out there. It's round 2 playoffs. It's the serious time. It's when the big boys are playing now. No more joke games. These are all the heavyweights are left now in Southern California.
Yeah, and if you're mad that Bakersfield got the shaft like Bakersfield does sometimes from those fancy folks down south, this is your way to fight against that by turning their gym into our gym. So call Alex at 395-4269 at the BC Athletics office. The ticket is just $25. Game tickets are $12, I believe. And tip is going to be at 7 p.m., so you're going to have to catch the bus at 4 p.m. sharp at the Romaine P. Claroux Fieldhouse. That's on the university side of the Bakersfield College campus. It's going to be an orange belt stage, nice bus with TV, air conditioned. You're not going to be riding a bumpy school bus with bench seats, put it to you that way. And you're going to be getting one of your last chances to see a truly brilliant and awesome Renegade basketball team. DeAndre, Jameek, these guys are moving on after the season. Get every chance you can to watch this team while they're around. For the entire Bakersfield College and Renegade Report family, including my director, Chris McCullough, the athletic director, Sandy Taylor, and President Sonia Christian, it's been a blast. Oh, yeah, and Steve Lynch.